Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about myth busting about resolution. It's getting the hype topic again right now, so let's dive deep into it. So right now hypes are crazy, meaning my first basically mobile phone that had any quality camera that I actually took photos on and enjoyed it was 3.2 megapixel. This puppies are reaching 100 megapixel, and be mindful there is a now list of cameras phone that have like 100 megapixel or more, and I'm reasonably sure within 1 or 2 years we may even cross 200 megapixel. So they're going bonkers. On top of that, basically you're talking about movie cameras like Blackmagic. They are releasing 18K camera. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of Ks. So that's happening. Action camera, like the tiny sensor and all that, they're also reaching 6K, 8K. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And IMAX camera now again, because of the marketing and people smoking too much Christopher Nolan, they are like, this is like 15K and like 18K and whatever have you, 20K plus magic. And there's this one camera. This is a 9x7 camera. This is supposed to be a digital camera that has the same quality as IMAX. Now be mindful, whenever somebody says IMAX, it's incomplete data description, because film, you take the film camera 35mm, cut, take that film roll, straighten it out, that becomes your cinema format, 35mm film format. Cool, awesome. Now that was for poor people. What if you were rich? So you went into much fatter roll. That roll was 70mm. So that's why, like, old Panavision, 70mm Panavision, that was the, like, basically if you had money you would invest in that, like 70mm. So that was IMAX of that time. Now what IMAX company did is very clever. They took the same roll, same film stock from same Kodak, and they're like, what if we rotated it back? So 35mm went from like this for your stills camera to like this for video, and from 70mm just did the opposite. So that's why you have to specify holes, how many holes it has. So normal 70mm widescreen generally has 5 holes, and when you are talking about IMAX, they will specify 15 holes for 15 perforation, 15 holes. So basically each frame has 15, so it's huge. The surface area available is almost like a medium format camera. It's huge. So now people are like, this has so much resolution. It's like, wow. So again, those who are smoking Christopher Nolan, they will believe that, but realistically people who know science is like, no. So these are the hype that is going on right now. Let's dive into the science. So let's come to the first part of optics. Now, Hesdy, light does not like to go through things, meaning you have a lens element, light has to go through it. Light does not like that. Light is like, nah, man, I'm not cool with that. You can have 100 watt of light energy and it can go through a lens. You will not get 100 out on the other end, no matter what you do. It's just like, nope, it will just nope it. So fundamentally, light does not like to go through. What happens to light when it tries to go through? Well, it goes through dissipation, so dispersion. So the quality, the wavefront information, basically what information is there, will get diluted, blurrified, so to say, just by the fact of going through it. And then scattering will happen. Then you will have absorption. So again, some of the energy will be just lost, and while processing through the lenses. And there will be a lot of issues create when you try to do lenses. For example, you take lens, you take a small cross section, you zoom into it, what do you find? It's a prism. So what happens into prism? If you have white light going through it, the red color and blue color and all the colors will spread out, meaning you will end up, instead of having a focus spot, you will literally have a spread out of different colors. This is what we call chromatic aberration. Yes, it's called aberration because it's not a desired effect. It's a very bad effect, and it makes your the early lenses very ugly. So how do we solve it? Well, we put a counter lens to it, which is on the back end of it, which allows it to be compensated to some extent. Now be mindful, this is fundamental flaw. You cannot fix it. You can just control it. So let's say worst case scenario was 15x. You can drop it to almost 3x. You can make it so low that digital post-processing can almost eliminate it, but it will always be there. It's on a fundamental level, it cannot be bypassed. Now that's just on the color level. What about the geometry of the scene construction? Because again, sensor is a 2D flat array. So how do you project onto it? Yeah, you can't. Lenses do not like that. So you take the lens central axis, it can be focusing exactly where it needs to, exactly on the sensor. You go above, it starts to focus either in front or backwards. This is what we call spherical aberration. How do we fix it? Again, we put achromatic lens. Basically, we try to counteract that effect to get similar focus. Now, here's the deal. All of these things generally has a range of working, meaning if you are making a lithography machine for sensor production and microprocessing, those are generally very perfect because they are only designed to work with one light wavelength, meaning it's a red color, a blue color, green color, whatever have you. Like this color, only for that. Camera lens does not have that luxury because it's supposed to work in wide spectrum, meaning from red to blue. Yeah, so they can try to make it okay enough for almost all of them, which, well, again, it's a compromise. So fundamentally, no matter what you do, the first loss of quality that happens from the scene, let's say this is the scene, where's the first loss? Is the lens. No matter what you do, lens will destroy majority of it. So chromatic aberration, spherical aberration, these are fact. You cannot bypass it. And just going through the lenses, it will change some amount of polarization, some amount of this, some amount of that. That's why MTF is never transferred. It's not like, oh, I have 100 megapixel of information transferred to on the other end. It's like 100 megapixel, best case is 50. So that's why lens is the weak link. Let that be very clear. We have amazing sensor technology right now, as in 2020 plus. We have amazing sensor. We just do not have the lenses. And again, you must have experienced it. 12 megapixel was kind of a very standard for mobile phone for few years. Like we had 12 megapixel sensor, image sensor very early on, but only recently, as in like as recent as 2018, it started to become, hey, the photos are actually good. Sensor did not change that much. Is the lens that went above it was changed. So that's there. So how would you fix it, right? Let's say this is a problem. Is there a solution to it? Yes. Again, if you are, let's say, a scientific organization, I need quality, you will use something like this. Now, this is a cutaway of one of the instrument in James Webb Space Telescope. So, an expensive puppy, around $10 billion kind of expensive. So, what do they use? No lens. Rule number one, if you have money and you want the best quality, thou shall not touch lenses. So, what is this? What is this light bouncing around? Exactly. Reflection, not refraction. You do not want refraction, you want reflection. So you same way in class 8 and class 10 you must have studied that you have concave lens, tweet, tweet. And what's the benefit of reflection? It does not split based on the wavelength. It does not give it a blue light exactly here, red light exactly here, green light exactly here. And that was the biggest discovery done by Newton. He figured it out. It's like, oh, that's why mirror-based telescopes are so effective. Even though his mirror was only this size, even smaller than this, it like was so effective compared to lens. It's like, oh, all the colors are focused in the same place. He did not have to worry about this sort of, spherical aberration or chromatic aberration. It's like he was getting HD photos. So that's why this is how they are doing it in the optics. So you have mirror, another mirror, another mirror. And here's the deal. The mirrors have to be first surface, meaning you should be able to touch the reflection. Like all the mirror we use in bathrooms and all that, they are generally second surface mirror. So first you have refraction, then you get the light bouncing. That's a no-go. That shall not force light to go through things. If you want optical quality, like I want full HD, I want 8K, I want 16K, you have to use mirrors. You cannot use lens and expect quality. Let that be very clear. Scientifically, it cannot be bypassed, it cannot be breached. There is no technology that can do that. So optics is your first defect. So anybody is saying IMAX camera and you see it, look at the camera lens and it's a freaking lens and not a telescope, it's like, yeah, you're smoking, man. Law of physics does not work. It has to be first surface mirror, and you can do everything that you can do in lens in mirrors also. And again, it will be lighter also. The penalty is size. It becomes bulky. So that's the optical part of it. So if any Tom, Dick and Harry tells you it's like, oh, it's 18K, 20K, man, 25K. Yeah, they're high, man. They're not doing anything. They're just high. It's like, unless there is a giant mirror array in front, no. It's just like, no. It does not matter. The glass elements are normal quartz glass, or it's like a, fluoride element glass, and it does not matter. Or thorium glass, does not matter. Now, that's the first element. What is the second most important? Sensor. Now, sensor, what is the most important part of a sensor? Now, the first is surface area. Now, like, why? Well, surface area directly impacts what we call spatial resolution. For example, you can have a 12 megapixel mobile phone, and you can have a 12 megapixel full frame camera. How would you know the difference? Now, people generally will do color charts and all that. That's not the easiest way to take spatial resolution. Take something like this. Like, this is an electoral packet, WHORS, and try to read what's in it. This is HD, and you would think, okay, let's say you get a blurry kind of acquisition of this. It's like, what is here? If I go to 4K, you would think on paper it's 4 times larger. So if I stretch it 4 times, it should be easier. Or like, there is far more pixels here. So inherently it's there. Yeah, it's not there. 8K, barely. 16K, nope. At that point, you have exceeded the limit of the lens. You will not get anything out of that. That's the easiest way to figure out. Take a newspaper, put it in a fixed distance, take a photograph, and you're like, okay, this is my 24 megapixel. I'm thinking to upgrade into 60 megapixel. Take a photo of the same newspaper, whatever lens you want to do. Go YOLO on it. You will be shocked of the point of diminishing return. Because again, lens is the weak link. You cannot have a sensor behind it that's like, I am 100 megapixel. It has to be a huge sensor, like a medium format kind of, to have some probability of transferring data. It's small, it will not transfer. Again, you know this, you inherently know this. And fundamentally, to increase resolution, you have to increase size. Now, film, again, Christopher Nolan audience kind of smoked it too much. And they're like, film, you can scan it and get higher resolution. No. We've done this. I have done this. So you must have remembered like long ago, there was a movie, 16 millimeter film and all that. They used to use it for effects. So they were garbage. Again, even they knew it was garbage. As in like in 1950s, the first time we invented a mass production of films, we figured it out. This was garbage. So what we did, we started to make it larger. We went from 16 millimeter to 22 millimeter to 28 millimeter to 35 millimeter. Then it was like, okay, 35 millimeter was like, based on cost and all that, that was good. Then like, what if you wanted really high quality? Then it was like, hey, let's go to 70 millimeter. We figured it out very early on. And in terms of, this is video. Photography, it was very clear. Like you could have bought, again, even Adam Savage has one of them, as the negative. Film negative was this size, foot by foot, what we call a large format. So 35 millimeter is a full frame. Full frame to medium format is just a range. And medium format to large format is anything that has 1 foot by 1 foot. I'm not joking, there are actual full formats that are that size. And yes, their resolution they create, even on crappy lens, is like, oh damn. It's like, oh damn. Like, that's damn. And again, that was the reason why models had to be retired so early on. Because again, even the early days, as in like 1950s, they were taking photographs on this sort of medium format. 70, so to say. So consequence of that, you can see all the imperfection. The makeup you will do, you will see the makeup. And again, this was a very big jumping call for news media when they upgraded from 480p cameras to Full HD in 2008. So it's like, randomly they were like, just put brush on. It's like, no, they had to upgrade their makeup artist, a lot of them, like to cinema grade, where it's like, oh no, does it look good in Full HD and all that. So fundamentally, film is not magic. You cannot just scan and get data out of it. What was the biggest film used, highest quality available? Spy camera. This is from YouTube, and this was huge. And benefit of, then you can actually zoom into it. It's like, oh, what is that? Again, imagine it this way, how much more data they could have captured if they can just use 16 millimeter. No, it does not work. You need large surface. And some of the satellite ones were like 1 foot by 1 foot. Like again, it was 1 foot by a roll, but that's the whole point. They try to make it as huge as possible. They're like, okay, too expensive, too cumbersome. It's like, okay, this much almost. So film is not magic. Do not let that ever get into your marketing head. It's not magic. You need surface area to get higher, and that's why size matters. Again, same pixel quality, same grain, same everything, same chemistry used by Kodak on all sizes, you will still get better output out of it on a larger one. So never ever, accept the fact that, oh, small one will work. No, law of physics does not allow it. Now, digital sensor has crossed the technology of it around in 2000, and by the time mass production 2010, there was no competition. In 2010, you can get a digital camera like this, Alexa LF, something like this, and if you had money, you can go even bonkers like that, Alexa 65, that's medium format, like 65 millimeter, and yeah, there is no comparison. The resolving power, meaning if you have same surface area and you take a photo in a current generation digital camera, as in camera made in 2020, and do the same thing in a negative and have something like this, like, okay, what can we do? Your best to focus it. You will learn very quickly that negatives are not high resolution. That's why camera companies, spy agency, NASA's, all of them, just like, all of them use negatives. And they did not give a damn about feel, they give a damn about accuracy. They're like, yeah, it's no longer a competition. So resolving power, like how much data you can get out of it, like how much resolving is there, digital is fundamentally, law of physics level, much better. And be mindful, ISO in film actually means the grain size. So if you are ISO 100, the grains are very small. That's a good. But if you type in ISO 3600, the grains are huge. That's why the noise became visible, because again, the silver halide grains are bigger. So those are the things. And sensor, at this point in time, I'm not talking about the fabrication, the nanometers and all that, do not worry about that. What is the limiting factor? It's limited by three main things. First is size. If you make it tiny, like same technology, take the same backside illuminated awesome sensor, slice it, output will be go down, because again, spatial resolution is going down. You cannot bypass it. Same sensor, same everything, it will go down. So size is the first weak link. So again, 100 megapixel technology, you can take the same 100 megapixels, tile hundreds of them, and again, you will figure out how America makes its spy plane. They are not ordering giant sensors. It's too expensive. They're like, okay, what if you have hundreds of smartphone camera? I'm not joking. I was shocked. Like, that's how they are doing it. And again, it's clever actually. It also gives you redundancy. If one of the data path fries, problem, 90% of the sensor is working. And megapixel, you do not talk about megapixel. They cannot store it. It's that how much it is. So somebody has to focus on this is the target of interest. Record this only. So sensor is only limited by size. Optics. So flat out, if you say lens, no. Any Tom, Dick and Harry says lens, they're stupid. For example, if you are like, Oppenheimer is shot in IMAX, it's very high quality. No, it's a 4K movie. It's like, how? Here's the, what do you think happened to IMAX after they shot it? Right? They have to shot it, they have to send it to editor, right? So how do you think that is done? It was scanned. It was scanned in like very high megapixel, what we call monochromatic medium format camera. Super awesome, GG. What happened after that? It was made into a video file. What was the video file resolution? 4K. Right now, that's the standard of the cinema. You could have that file, but again, it's not processed, it's not edited, it's not color corrected, it's nothing. It's just data. So actual movie, what you call movie, is that 4K master file. And what happens after that? They send it to a projection station, a digital laser projection station that projects it using laser onto a negative. That IMAX negative, yeah, it's gone through digital conversion. Yeah, that's only 4K. Like actual technical, like if you're like, hey, how much data I can get out of it? Like actual, try to fill a frame, 4K resolution. It's not 8K, it's not 16. It looks good, it feels good, it's not there. And again, even IMAX are like, yeah, how much people can smoke? They are switching to laser system. So the laser projector that is projecting on the film, they're like, what if you increase the laser power and project it on the screen? It would be better. So size, optics, and data path. Basically, sensors are awesome. These puppies are awesome. If you give the same sensor to a cinematographer or a company that makes a cheap consumer equipment, it's not going to be the same sensor, same silicon. Give it to NASA, they're like, we'll give you data out of it. We're going to give you awesome data out of it. It's just the extraction of it. And that's why cinema cameras are huge. They have the same sensor made from all the same equipment. It's just that behind it, basically analog to digital converter, they are absorbing as much data as possible. So for example, if your mobile phone camera is making 1 kilogram per second, your actual video file is almost like 50 grams. And cinema camera tries its best to get almost 500 grams out of it. So that's the aim. Digital is awesome. It's just that we are not extracting as much as we need to get the full love out of it. So that's the sensor layer. Small sensor will always suck because of the spatial resolution fact. Again, we've gone through all this negative development to understand this. Again, bigger, better. Law of physics. You cannot bypass it. And you cannot use lens. You have to use mirrors for higher resolution. So we come to the final fact. AI versus I. Now, we do not actually want accurate image. Again, you may think like, what if I take everyone's photo in a medium format? Again, there would be good luck out there. But again, if people are using pixel, pinch to zoom, they will hate you. Every skin imperfection will be exposed. Like it would be brutal. And again, people do not want accurate, people want pleasing. We are not paying for real photo, we are paying for pleasing photos. I want to be happy when I look at my older photos. I do not want to like, damn, I was getting old. So let that be very clear. That's why I said people like that IMAX. Again, they like the feel, the organic vibration of the frames and all that motion and all the jitteriness that it has. It feels organic. It's not good, it's better, it's pleasing. So if you want, like let's say you are NASA and you're like, hey, come on, man, defense agency, man, come on, you can spare some satellites to us. It's like, yeah, we have an old spy satellite which was recycled into making into Hubble. We have 1 or 2 left. One is made into this. Tell me the name. Yes, it's a spy satellite. As in, like it was made as a spy satellite. They're like, I'm not even joking. They had a glass just laying there. They ground the glass was ready. So they took it, they remade a new version of Hubble, and this puppy is the same, mirror to exact same thing as Hubble, only the sensor block is huge. This is the sensor block. Hubble sensor block was 1 unit of this. So sensor is huge. And you may be like, each sensor block is this size. It's like, it's bigger than full format. And yes, you can find data sheet on all of that. You can even pick up the phone and call the people who are selling you this. Yeah, you have to have very deep pocket, do not annoy them. But again, you can do that. And you would think, what kind of resolution they are talking? Yeah, it's 2K. This camera has higher resolution than that. It's just 2K. Why? Again, perfectly matched. They can have like, what if we have this? What if we have 500 megapixel? It won't resolve. It won't freaking resolve anything. And again, this is a system is a bit cheaper than James Webb Space Telescope. So they do have one lens element here. So they are focusing on wide field rather than like, very high depth, so to say. So fundamentally, if you want like I want a very high quality, accuracy, all that, yeah, you ain't paying for 18K or like 2K is more than good enough. More than good enough. 2K mirrors sure to take money. You will be shocked how horribly awesome it looks. Like mirror to lens, that jump is going from 360p to full HD. It's huge, humongous. And again, we do not get full output of digital sensors. So there is a lot of quality there. Even by the crappy lens, there is a lot of work there. It's just we do not get out of it. So if the camera can get you the same quality that it's seeing, the actual sensor is seeing, it's going to be awesome. And again, that's the whole point of this camera that's supposed to be digital IMX. They figured it out. It's not the sensor, it's the weak link, it's the data path. So they did not focus on anything on above it. They're like, hey, that will require billions of dollars. What if we improve the data path? This puppy gives you 10 gigabyte per second. That means you need 100 gigabits of link to dump that kind of footage. It's brutal. Now benefit, you are getting to see what sensor sees. That's good. That's a whole another level of good. And yes, it's global shutter. It's still good because again, you are getting the whole pipeline out of it, and it's huge. Spatial resolution requires huge thing because be mindful. Let's say you have a bright spot. Let's say this is a bright spot. You focus it through a lens on a small sensor. How many pixels are there from it's going from hot spot to cold spot? Few. Now, same scenes, exactly the same scene, exact same frequency, you are just changing the sensor size. Now, same thing will be broadcast in a larger area. Now you have far more pixel. That's why spatial resolution is directly proportional to the size. It does not give a damn about pixel per inch. It's just like how much enlarging you are doing. You want as large enlargement as possible. And I'm not even going into diffraction. You want as much enlargement as possible. Again, you want super awesome quality. Ever try to afford a photo of yourself in negative in 1 foot by 1 foot? You will be shocked. Like 5 years from now, people will be like, damn, I can see every single crack in his skin. It will be creepy. And again, they will be using ancient lens and it will still be that good. Because again, it's letting it expand. It's just like, let it go, man. So thankfully, because of development of AI, and AI is directly on top of what we call digital pipeline, it can absorb all the data. You can't get 10 Gbps out of it easily. And again, doing that in your mobile phone is not an option. That means that only few seconds your mobile phone will be completely full. So that's not an option. So what can you do? You can feed data to AI. Now AI is built on the understanding that you do not want real, you want pleasing. So it can take my photo and it's like, hey, Anupam Vipul has crow's eyes, like that screen stretching you have like this sort of thing. And it's like, okay, what if I dull it down? It's like, hey, he's losing hair here. So realistic would be, it will look exactly the same skin color as I have. But the camera would be like, that's hair. I'm getting all the data. What if I tone it down? It will not overdo it, because again, the early days we were overdoing it. Now it's like, hey, let's just tone it down so it does not look jarring, it just looks pleasing. Now do that in hundreds of things in my face and I'm like, damn, I look good. Actually I look horrible, but it's like, damn. So that's why AI can do so much more than we realize, because again, it has that data pipeline, or what we call thick negative. So this camera, again, that's what they call it. It's like you get thick good negative out of it. So there's a lot of depth. They're not even converting that 16-bit linear to 12-bit logarithmic. They're just like, give the 16-bit, do not transform the data, give the original data. Then there is a lot of latitude there to work on it. So phone has that raw data path to the AI processor, not to the output sensor, to the AI sensor. And that gives us the happy images. We are happy about it. And again, it's all about art, not about science. Again, science will never, you go to science, we're going to use 16K, they're going to take a slipper and bitch slap you. They're not, no, just no. So you use 2K. They're like, you use 2K, that's it. There is like, again, you can see the biggest observatory lens sensors are this size, huge. And there's like only gigapixels and all that. And again, actual PPM, your mobile phone has more PPM. Your mobile phone has more pixel per inch. Again, they do not want, and again, the lens they are grinding, first they do their best to get everything done on mirror, and then last element is the glass. And it's expensive AF. So be mindful, it's about art, not science. Again, so you can, feel, you can enjoy a negative far more than a digital projection. cool, have fun. But do not say scientifically, oh, it's better. And do not, anybody is like, you need 24K or 16K or 500K. No, no. You're using a lens, 4K, quality 4K, good. Quality 8K, more than good enough. Anything above that, yeah, it's just digital noise at that point in time. Like, you can have it. And again, if you want to, try to get on a large sensor, as large sensor as possible. Like, this is big. Like, this is bigger than Alexa 65mm. So larger sensor actually has some probability of spatial resolution, that you are actually getting signal to noise ratio. So that's the whole point of AI versus I. So this was my presentation on basically the resolution hype that is going on. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.